Anu, what do you think are the crucial elements that needs to come? It's not just the crown, no? The crown way, the city center is far more. So what are the key elements that you see? One thing that comes to my mind is Siru.
Before getting to Siru, I think the first thing is education. That we know what this city is. So much conflict is happening, like what we are saying. The city was meant to be a pedestrian town. We forget that. And we've kind of projected, we've looked at the city plan and we've looked at it with fear. And we haven't really gone into what it was meant to be. All those covered places are actually shaded walkways, they're not concrete buildings. There are many things like that, interwoven, because the inspiration was taken from the old towns, like in Rajasthan or in the medieval towns, where we didn't have motorable traffic in those days. So the idea was to have a pedestrian town. And the crown is crucial to achieve that pedestrian town. It's not to go zing, zing, zing with your car.
It's not a racetrack.
Absolutely not. It's the opposite. So what he said, this story of Joel Goodman, that was part of the original plan, that you have these service nodes, they're meant for that. They are meant to make the transfer. So anybody coming from outside, we are supposed to eventually go towards the e-mobility. What did the mother say? She wanted 65, she's saying this, that she says electric cars, 15 kilometers an hour. That means it's not just for the crown, it's for the whole town. Something which corresponds with this feeling of the Matriman, this very quiet town.
Correct.
Non-polluting. Somewhere, and that whole ability for us to be a walkable town.
Right.
Walkability is an important ingredient there. And there's this very famous, he's a sustainable urban designer, he's very well known, Jan Gehl. He says it's no use making just green buildings, that's not the point. You have to create the life. And then you hear Roger when he's talking about the ability of people to meet each other, cross each other, have spaces. That's a city center. It's a very living, walkable, beautiful place. Where kids can hang out, anybody can hang out. You can sit and talk to people, you can sit and read a book, You can sit by the pond, whatever. You take care of the ponds, you take care of the water storage.
Right.
Because there will be overflow coming from the lake.
Right.
So all the overflow will go into the city center. That's why there are all these green corridors. They absorb all that, So we have to really work with something which is so, it's such a, I would say, far-reaching plan. They're talking about in '66 in Paris in UNESCO when they introduce all that. They're talking about rainwater harvesting, soil and energy, stuff which is now in contemporary times, which all the urban designers are taking into consideration. And the fact that you have to build density.
That you can move easily.
Yes. In fact, to have not only,
and it's a place of beauty, flowers.
But to have also, all the services, that the services we have. So you can have access to the services.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going a bit out of your question, because of one aspect that you didn't talk, but for me is very important, is we are creating also, or trying to create a new society. And for me, the base where we are now of this society is to create services. So we need services. In the city center, we need all kinds of services. And because the members of this society in development, we are growing into the society. We have to develop trust. We have to develop this security. We have to develop this feeling of being taken care of. This should be integral part of the development of the city. Is to go together with the development of the new society. What is this reflection? What it means to build a new society in very practical terms, physically, that people can have appropriate houses, that people can have a nice transport, correct transport, that you don't need cars or motorbikes or anything, but to have collective transports. We have education. All these services that are turned towards this building of this new society that gives this kind of security and of belonging, in fact, to the experiment.
Yeah.
For me, this is fundamental.
Mm.